Well, racing fans from right around the world will have their eyes on Del Mar come Saturday afternoon when undefeated 4-year-old Flightline takes on 5 others in the Grade 1 Pacific Classic. A win and you're in race for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Andrew Brown with Scott Shapiro to preview the race. And Shap, as we take a look at the field, Flightline's first attempt around 2 turns and beyond a mile. Is it straight to the lead for him, or does another horse take up the challenge?
I would think it's straight to the lead, Brownie, in the biggest race of the meet out there at Del Mar. I know you've been privileged to be there. I'm hoping you'll be there on Saturday afternoon for a great card, headlined, of course, by this $1 million event. The only question you have to ask with Flightline is the distance going to be an issue? Because otherwise, he should be loose on the lead. He's proven to be one tough customer. He seems to be training well. And I don't have all that much excitement in trying to beat him. I wish I did, but as an odds-on choice and a very probable single for most people in the late horizontals, including the pick 6, I think Flightline is probably a very, very likely winner.
Trainer John Sadler has referred to Flightline as a generational talent. He's now done it coast to coast after showing them a clean pair of heels in the Met Mile at Belmont last time out. Back home in Cali, where he's been looking silky smooth in his morning workouts, Shap. Do you have any concerns at all, or is he bomb-proof?
I do have concerns. It's not a horse that I would be excited to bet. You know, you look at horses and you always wonder who are the people that are betting 1 to 5 and 2 to 5 shots with conviction. A lot of times, though, you find them that, you know, they've done what they've done going into the race. So let's say if Flightline already had a win at 1.25 miles or even 1 1/8 miles, it would feel a little bit better. He's gone from all one-turn races now to that 10 furlong distance. So that is a question mark. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get it and if he doesn't win, but that is the one question mark that needs to be answered. So while I do pick him on top, it's not a horse that I'm very excited about at the price, as I'm sure many agree.
I think a lot of people would have been surprised if Cigar got beaten at that 1 to 5 quote many, many years ago too, right? So this is racing. Anything can happen. Flightline is taking on some experienced 10 furlong horses, in particular the likes of Country Grammar and Royal Ship. The pair clashed last time out over the mile and 1/16 San Diego, where Royal Ship scored a 2-length win over Country Grammar. That's not the only time that Country Grammar has been defeated by Royal Ship too. But before that, Country Grammar, of course, earlier this year, Shap won that Dubai World Cup with Frankie Dettori up. Both serious racehorses. What needs to happen for either of them to be a threat to Flightline on Saturday?
Well, Country Grammar is clearly, to me, the likeliest to beat Flightline, even though he was defeated by Royal Ship last time. I thought it was a clear prep. I thought the 1 16th in the Grade 2 San Diego, shorter than Country Grammar won. So I think the race in that second place effort, albeit on the right part of the track, did set up this son of Tonalist for a big effort. He's going to need Flightline, though, to just simply not like the distance, or maybe some sort of surprising. I mean, Stiletto Boy could potentially run with Flightline early. Maybe. I don't think he's got the same kind of speed, but maybe they go at it early on and set things up for the likes of Country Grammar. Royal Ship's a horse I'm against. I know I've talked about the July 30th racetrack a lot. Some of it has been correct. Other times, other thoughts with the bias that day have not panned out. I'm speaking mainly of the funded last weekend in the Pat O'Brien. But Royal Ship was on the absolute right part of the racetrack that day. It felt like the San Diego was the race for him. He is 8 for 18, but that was his first win over the Del Mar track. So to me, it's Country Grammar if anybody's going to beat Flightline. Maybe you can make the case for Express Train, who's got a tough task coming off the bench here, but has run well over this racetrack. The 1.25 miles, a little bit suspect. What about you?
Well, I'm in Flightline's corner. I don't have the guts to tip against him. He's just obviously the talk of the town, Chap. I'm a massive Country Grammar fan. I think the pair will run the exacta, which I guess begs the question, from a betting perspective, how are you going to attack the race?
Well, it's unfortunately not the most appetizing wagering opportunity with a heavy favorite, especially since we both like. If you don't like Flightline, obviously that presents a lot of options. For me, it's going to be singling Flightline in the majority of my tickets in the late horizontal wagers, maybe playing a backup ticket with Country Grammar and Express Train just in case the 1.25 miles gets to Flightline. But that's the only way I think approaching it makes sense. If you're against Country Grammar, though, potentially potentially underneath, that might present some more opportunities in the horizontals, especially if you're like me and against Royal Ship. But it's tough to find value with a 1 to 5, maybe a 2 to 5. Usually the best way, in my opinion, if you think they're unbeatable or close to it, is to single them in the pick 5 or pick 6.
Tough to find value, but an exciting race nonetheless. As I mentioned, the eyes of the racing world will be on San Diego come Saturday afternoon. It's likely onto the Breeders' Cup Classic for the winner, where they'll take on the likes of Epicenter and Life is Good. Shap, thank you so much, as always, for your wonderful insights. And don't forget, you can access all of Shap's selections for every race at Del Mar on the relevant market in the TwinSpires app. Good luck with all your bets at Del Mar on Saturday.